Hello, beautiful souls. Today we're going to revisit the topic of domicile soulmates. This is the frequency of your home that we're going to be talking about. How your home can also be your soulmate. And this is a continuation of my previous podcast, episode 7. So if you haven't viewed that, go back and look at it. I'm going to put the link to that first episode in the chat so you can review that and become familiar with what we're talking about in this episode. So hold that thought. I'll be right back.
Welcome to Howling at the Moon, where the mystical meets the practical, and the canine spirit guides lead the way. I'm your host, Heatherleigh Strom. In 2022, I experienced a sudden, life-changing spiritual awakening. After a lifetime of struggling with, who am I and why am I here? For 5 decades, the world felt cold and confusing. Now I see the patterns, the purpose, and the bigger magical picture. My mission? To help you find your way through your own awakening journey. Here, you'll discover limitless possibilities for spiritual growth, powerful healing frequencies, and extraordinary energetic professionals, each designed to guide you into deeper healing and remembrance. Some episodes feature enlightening wisdom from spiritually evolved guest healers, visionaries, and authors. Others are led by the multidimensional canine spirit guides themselves, sharing their unique intergalactic wisdom and frequency. If you've been craving deeper truth, multidimensional healing, and a little cosmic magic, you've just found your pack. Listen and watch on Spotify or YouTube and bring the magic back into your life.
Okay, so the last time I brought this topic up for discussion, I was about to embark on a cross-country move, and I was surprised to find that the house I was moving from had a very intimate connection to me and had been caring for me for almost 25 years. So we're going to continue this discussion, and I want to let you know what ended up happening through this process, because the entire experience was absolutely magical and beautiful, and I had no idea it would unfold in such a complex way. So I want to share it with you and increase your awareness of this type of ability and connection and magic that you have at your fingertips. So the first thing I need to share with you is that after I did that podcast number 7, I received an invitation from the house to sit with that house in meditation, connect with the spirit of that house, and actually go through an official uncoupling, or actually the breaking of our union, the dissolving of our connection. And this was necessary before I would be able to connect with the new house. Even though we had already purchased the new house, we were waiting to close on it, we were waiting to set everything in motion and move our stuff across country. It was necessary in order for this house to sell, the current house we were in. It was necessary for me to detach myself from it. So I went into meditation, into ceremony, into chambers with my house, the spirit of my house. She presented herself to me. It was a feminine entity. She presented herself to me as this beautiful, multicolored warrior. She kind of looked like an Aborigine that had all of these colors painted all over her body. And she was very muscular. and she appeared to be naked underneath all of that paint. So her silhouette was absolutely gorgeous. And when she saw me, she turned around and she invited me to follow her. So we went into ceremony together, spiritual ceremony together. And we had a very official uncoupling, if you will, to break the bond that had held us together for almost 25 years. And when this happened, I felt all of this energy come rushing back into my soul, into my very being. All of this energy that she had shared with me, all of this love, nurturing, guardianship, everything that she had been offering me, all of a sudden came rushing back to me, and I cried. Oh, it was an incredible release as we said our goodbyes. I was very grateful for everything she had taught me, everything she had shown me, all the time she had protected me and looked out for me. And it was a beautiful experience. I was flabbergasted that this was even possible. It was very palpable and real. As our ceremony came to a close, I felt her drift away, completely separated from her for the first time in a long time. And I felt my own sovereignty in this relationship come back to me fully as I realized this was a done deal. There was no going back. She had given me her blessings and permission in moving forward. She had helped to orchestrate this entire transaction, and even more was coming that I did not expect that she was going to assist with. So, after that beautiful experience, I was really anxious to connect to the new home that we had just chosen. And this was an equally as magical experience as it was when we found our old house. So let me give you a little background story here. Before this date, I spent about a week in the new state, Colorado, looking for a new home, shopping with a realtor. I must have looked at 25 homes. One of them was kind of a good match. But for some reason, I still had this nagging desire to keep looking. So I started to just drive through neighborhoods by myself, trying to figure out where I felt like I needed to be. And on a free day where I had to explore by myself, I discovered the beauty of the Garden of the Gods. And almost right across the street was an equally as beautiful and magical Red Rock Canyon open space area. And as I experienced these two magical natural states, natural parks, lots of red rock, lots of terrain, elevation, it was just gorgeous. I could feel the magic of the space and the terrain. And when I really connected to my soul, I realized I need to be right here, right between these two magical, mystical, natural areas. So I started to just drive around to see what I could find, to see what would fit within this space. We also got on the internet, started looking at houses. I just felt like there was something that had been missed. On the last night we were there, the next morning we were catching a flight back home to Indiana. On the last night, we had a snowstorm. Of course, it's Colorado in December. But we weren't giving up. We were still on the internet looking for that special property. We found a property at the last minute that seemed to check all the boxes. It had been on my list before, and based on certain criteria, I had removed it from the list. Now we were reconsidering it. We called our realtor. We asked if she could get us in the morning, knowing that the snow was coming, not sure what was going to happen tomorrow. But we made the appointment anyway. And when we woke up, we had about 6-8 inches of snow. My realtor lived further north, and she had a lot more. And this house we were looking at was closer to the mountains, so we weren't sure how much snow it had received. But my husband was determined. He says, we've got to go. We have to see it. And we need to know what it's like in the snow. Of course, right? So we fought the snow. None of the roads had been plowed yet because it was Saturday. There was no rush. When we got to the house, the selling realtor was there shoveling the driveway, and they had received quite a bit more snow than what we got down in the springs. Our realtor had a hard time getting out of her neighborhood because she had even more snow too. So we were there with the selling realtor, and we finally got into the home, and we only needed about 30 minutes. When we walked into that home, it was the same experience as the last house. It was a wow moment. This house seemed to fit all of our needs. It checked all the boxes I had given, all the criteria I had given to the realtor as we began our search in this area. And it was surprising to me because it wasn't all that obvious on the listing. I was really surprised to find that it has almost an 180-degree view of the mountains in the back with nobody behind the house. So it's an incredible park-like atmosphere in a very quiet neighborhood. Turns out we know some people in the neighborhood already. It was just a synergistic experience. So we knew after 30 minutes that this was our house. And my husband had intended not to place an offer on a house during this trip. Although I knew that as soon as we set this ball rolling, it was going to move fast. So we went home, we made it to the airport in time, went home and got everything ready and made the offer on this house by the end of the week. And we just knew it was the right house. So after I disconnected myself from the old house, it was now time to connect myself to the new house. And just to be sure, I put pictures of two houses that we were kind of in between on, this house and another one we'd found that sort of worked for us, sort of matched the frequency I was looking for. So I put pictures of both houses in a plain white envelope, and I muscle tested myself and my husband, and we both tested positive on the house in the mountains. So this was exciting. So as I sat down to connect with this house, I was really curious to see what would happen. Who is this new house? And by the way, that house, this house, had also been on the market for about 3 months. So it was waiting for us, and I couldn't even believe it was still on the market. It was too beautiful and perfect for someone to not scoop it up. But just as in our previous house, it had been waiting for us. And when I connected with this house, went into chamber, into ceremony with the essence and the spirit of this home, what I found was absolutely beautiful. Before me stood a ram and a fairy. And the energy of the house was absolutely joyous. The three of us stood in the living room, holding hands and dancing in a circle. It was a beautiful exchange, and I could just feel the joy and the strength and the magic of the house. Little did I know, I had no idea, there are actually rams in this area. And I would soon discover I would capture a number of fairies on my camera. So this home was welcoming me in, was embracing me, showing me its strength and its spirituality. And I was assured once again that I was in the right place and I was in excellent hands. As we connected together in ceremony, we co-created a powerful vortex of sovereignty and protection, shielding the house and the space. I wanted to make sure, since it was empty, that it stayed protected until I could get there. And it did. And when we had it inspected, the inspector was thrilled with the quality of the house. He said he had never seen a house built that well. And this house was not even 10 years old. And it was solid as a rock. Just like the energy I perceived when I connected with it. Absolutely strong, just like the ram. And that's what the house was trying to show me. Now, this all happened the morning that we were planning to put the old house on the market. And I had a surprise heading my way that I didn't anticipate, a couple of surprises. First off, one thing I want to share with you is a lesson I learned about following my instincts and my intuition. When I first got with my realtor, I had been hearing the number that I should ask, the number that I should put this house up for sale at, the value. I had no background information, no data to support this figure. It was just what I was being told that I needed to put the house in the market for, the number value, exactly the number value. When our realtor ran the comps, our house was very unique, the old one. When she ran the comps, her numbers came quite a bit shy of what I had been told. She was $75,000 shy of where I was told to place it. And I had a dilemma there. What do I do? I decided to have it appraised, and the appraisal came up much better than her research. It was only 5,000 shy of the number I was given to put it on the market at. So I thought, okay, this is close enough. I'll put it here. I'm okay with that. So that being said, when I met with the realtor the morning of putting it on the market, right before she left, she said to me, now, I don't know if we'll get a lot of showings because the market's really slow right now. I was like, what? This was a surprise to me. And after she left, I instantly had a conversation with the house. This is my old house. I said, okay, house, I turn this over to you. You have given me the number you're worth and what you'll sell for. I have taken exquisite care in preparing the house to put on the market. I repainted every room, cleaned and repainted all of the trim. Everything was spotless and immaculate. It took us months to get this house ready, 4 months to get it ready to sell. So I said, okay, house, this is all you now. I have done everything you asked. You have to show me, prove it to me that you're ready for our disconnection, that you're ready for me to leave. I need you to bring the buyer forward. Little did I know the house was going to do just that. We listed that house just an hour later. Got about 3 or 4 instant appointments. The first family that came to look at the house made an offer. Now, while they were looking at the house, I had no place to go. So Gigi and I, my corgi, loaded in the car and we went to a parking lot nearby. Just a couple houses or a couple spots over was a church. So we went to the church parking lot. And we just watched. I was just very curious to see how they were going to respond to the house. It was interesting, though. As I saw them moving into the house and then out into the backyard, exploring the space, it's a marvelous property. As I observed them moving through the house, they also brought their 2 children with them. I could feel the frequency of the house embracing them. I could feel the joy the home felt about the children. I could feel all of that. And when the children went out back to play in the snow and make their little snow angels in the snow, Gigi could see them from the car. She started to quietly growl because somebody was in her yard. But right after they left, they made an offer. And I was actually in the process of watching other people view our home when the realtor called. She said, "You're not going to believe this. We just got an offer. It was for above what we had asked, what we had placed the house at. And guess what? It was exactly the figure I had been given to put the house on the market at. Spot on the exact amount the house had told me to put it for sale at." Unbelievable. Not only that, but they wanted a quick sale and they wanted it as is, no contingencies. Voila! The house delivered her promise. She proved it all to me right then and there. That house was sold within 5 hours of posting it. So the transition was real. I was about to, everything was set up for us to move across country in a quick fashion. Everything was so easy. People came forward and volunteered to move us across country. And it was an easy process. There were no difficulties. There were no surprises. There were no obstacles that we had to overcome. It all fell into place beautifully. I had people comment during this process, "Oh, I'm so sorry you're moving. That must be awful." I would hate to have to do that. And I just shook my head because everything was in divine order. So everything was easy peasy. And throughout the whole process, I was full of so much joy and total love for the properties, the old and the new, for the new environment I was getting to go into, and also for the environment of the old home that had supported me for so long. I was so grateful for all of it. And it was a beautiful process. But what made it so beautiful was that I was able to embrace it. I was able to allow it to happen. And I was listening. I was doing as I was led so that everything went smoothly. As I was preparing to leave that house, I was full of so much joy as I was preparing it for the new buyers, getting all their paperwork together. Everything was done in this state of pure joy. And the buyer said that they felt the love for the house when they entered the house. They could tell that this home was well cared for and well loved. And that was what spoke to them. That was what attracted them to the home. Wow. Isn't that beautiful? I was just overcome with so much gratitude for the whole process, how everything came together so magically. If we get out of the way, if we get out of our own way, if we can see the magical connections between all the pieces in our life, we can just tap in and see all of that. It makes life so much easier. And that's what this process was about. It was about trusting my intuition, trusting what I was being told psychically needed to happen, following those instincts and not avoiding them, not being afraid of them, having the courage to stand up for them. So this brings up a great topic. Are you listening in your life? Do you have the courage to take action on what you hear from your higher self, from your soul, from your guides, from your God, whoever your information comes from? Do you have the courage to trust it, to have faith, and to act on it? That's the lesson here. And when I did all of the above, I was justly rewarded. And we have been in heaven ever since. So today's channeled energy is actually from Oregon. She's going to be equipping you for this type of vision, this type of connection, this type of ability to understand the messages you are receiving and the direction you're being guided to go in. So this is going to be really something. So those of you who wish to receive this gift, acknowledge the fact that you wish to receive just psychically. If you don't want to receive it, you don't have to. Oregon will be guiding us through an energetic upgrade to assist you in experiencing these magical connections that I was just talking about, so that you can perceive them in your life and you'll be able to act on them a little bit easier and understand your own true power and connection a little bit better.
Thank you for joining me today. The healing session for this episode with the Canine Spirit Guides is now available exclusively through my subscriber portal on Substack. These energetic downloads are sacred transmissions, and by moving them to a dedicated space, I can connect more intentionally with those of you who feel called to receive them. It also helps me get to know you a little better so that I can more effectively serve and support this growing community. If you'd like to access the healing frequencies of this episode's Canine Spirit Guide and future transmissions, just head over to my Substack at heatherleighstrom.substack.com and become a subscriber. Whether you join us there or simply tune in here, the Canine Spirit Guides and I are so grateful to share this path with you. And be sure to stay put because there might be more coming on this podcast.
That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in and participating if you did. I would be curious to know what you perceived and how this affected you. If you wish to leave a comment, I would love to hear it. This has been an example of how the Canine Spirit Guides work. It's very similar to my private sessions I offer with the Canine Spirit Guides in healing humanity, identifying what needs to be restored, and then absolutely doing that for us and with us. So if you're interested in your own healing session with the Canine Spirit Guides, my offerings are on my webpage, so check it out. So thank you again for joining me. I'm Heatherleigh Strom. I will be back next week with a new guest. Please join me. We have a lot to share, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Have an incredible day, an incredible life wherever you are. If it's not incredible, make it incredible. Embrace the magic.
Canine Spirit Guides, The Healing Power of Man's Best Friend by Heatherleigh Strom. We've always suspected dogs are magical angels from God. In this groundbreaking book, you'll discover the specific divine gifts our canine companions really possess as they facilitate our healing, elevate our awareness, and expand our consciousness. Man's best friend has their own spirit guides, which is why they appear in our lives just when we need them most. This award-winning book, Canine Spirit Guides, The Healing Power of Man's Best Friend by Heatherleigh Strom, is available on Amazon.com and HeatherleighStrom.com. Get your copy today and begin your journey.